Welcome to the very first episode of the Making Sense of Money podcast presented to you by P1FCU. I'm your host, Tanis, and we're going to tackle all the financial topics that matter most to you. In today's episode, we're going to discuss a timely topic, the dreaded holiday debt hangover. With me today, I have Kylie. She's a leader on our lending team and a new mom of a 1-year-old.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for
excited
being
to be here.
Yes, it's this topic's going to be a good one, not only for everybody, but specifically for new moms and new parents. So my first question for you is, how has becoming a new mom changed the way that you approach holiday spending?
It's a good question. I think with being a parent this year, we really cared more about like the memories. I don't want Chloe, that's my daughter's name, growing up caring about the presents as much, like instead of the memories with your family and what our traditions are and that kind of stuff. So we really took that to heart this year. Her grandparents spoiled her, but we really just are trying to create our own family traditions and stuff. So that's what's important to us.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like experiences versus items.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What advice do you have for other parents who are trying to manage their holiday budgets?
One thing that my mom always did that I have started now that I'm a parent is she'll start like a Christmas cash envelope in like January. And then she'll put 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever she can, just every paycheck, every month, whatever she can afford. And then by the end of the year when you're Christmas shopping, she has, and now I have some cash built up to help purchase those presents that we're getting, so it doesn't seem as much of a, it's not as much of a hardship because we've saved for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that also is a good idea because it eliminates what I do where I start buying early. And then by the time December comes, it's like, okay, we have way too many things and I overspent.
Yep.
Like hardcore.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah. She's done it for years and we started it this year. So
yeah. So physical money in an envelope.
Yep. Cash.
Okay. Dang.
$5, $10, whatever.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing that.
Yeah. She's smart.
I'm making the note. And now that Christmas is over, how do you prioritize which debts to pay off first when juggling household expenses, especially as a new mom?
Yeah, good question. Being a part of the lending team, I'm very aware of like interest rates and stuff like that. So we're paying off our higher interest debts first. So usually those are like credit cards, unsecured loans, because those have a higher rate. So we'll try and get those paid down first. Always make your minimum payment on all your debts. But if you can afford more, do it on those high interest loans or credit cards. So you're not paying as much interest. So that's kind of what we do is we get the credit cards paid off and then we can focus on other things.
That's a great tip. Yeah. That's a really great tip. I mean, a lot of us get into a lot of trouble, obviously, with credit cards specifically, but and the minimum payment too. I mean, some people feel like that's not enough, but you're saying that, if that's the least you can do, then
do with that.
Yeah.
Because if you're not even making your minimum payments, that's going to hurt you more in the long run with, your negative payment history, that kind of stuff. So make your minimum payments and then anything more you can pay towards, do it on the higher interest loans.
Great tip. Do you think that being a parent makes it harder to stick to a no spend month, or do you think it makes you more disciplined?
I haven't jumped on the no spend month trend yet. I will say that I don't spend on myself nearly as much. Same as my husband. I think we're a lot more aware that we probably shouldn't be just buying things just to buy, we're
sacrifices.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I think being a parent is harder. You never know what comes up with kids, diapers, formula, clothes, socks, whatever it may be, so again, I haven't jumped on the trend of the no spend month, but I think it would be hard because you never know what a kid's going to need tomorrow.
Absolutely. No, for sure. That's something that we are doing too, is just trying to reserve for anything because, I feel like I'm sure I speak for a lot of new moms where I'm always preparing for the worst.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, I got to give up this, that, and the other because what if they get sick or what if, especially when they're babies, I feel like one wrong move and we're like, emergency room.
Yeah, and this time of year, it's like constant runny noses, coughs, colds.
Yeah.
So got to save up.
Urgent care.
Yes.
Urgent care visits.
Yeah.
If you were to give one piece of financial advice to other new parents who are feeling overwhelmed by debt, what would it be?
I definitely, like I said earlier, on pay those high interest loans down first. One thing that I'm kind of a type A person. I'm very, but I've really practiced, if you will. Everything is gonna like have its phase. You know what I mean? That comes with motherhood and money. I think your money comes, money goes. A kid may be teething, then they're not. So it may seem hard right now, but if you stick to a budget and you work yourself out of it, or if you stick to your budget, you're setting yourself up for success.
Totally.
So that's kind of how we practice our financials.
Yeah, for sure.
With also the mindset that it could change tomorrow. You just never know. So
I think that's important for all of us to think, because I know I do it myself. This is not going to last forever.
Yes.
This will not last forever.
Yep.
It's only temporary. And, having little ones makes it easier to not go out and spend and not go out and do the things, which is a bit of a blessing, because it's like beforehand, we were going to dinner every other day. And so it really is easier, I feel, to adjust to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's been good. It's done good things for me and my family for sure too.
I used to be a spender. Now I'm a saver. And I think that came with
Good
motherhood.
for you.
Yeah.
See,
I'm like,
look
gotta
at that.
gotta save the money.
New year, new us.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
One question that we do ask all of our guests is, what is one thing that you wish you have known about money earlier in life?
That's a good question. I grew up, my parents were very much like no debt people. They're like, if you don't have cash, you can't afford it, don't buy it. And in today's society, I think that's a very unrealistic way to live. A lot of people, most people can't go buy a house, a car, groceries without using like a credit card or getting a loan or something. And so I grew up afraid of debt. And now it's funny because I work in the lending department and then my job is to help with loans. But
you get a car. You get a car.
Yeah. So it took me until about a few years ago to be comfortable with the idea that you can get a loan as long as you are educated in what that entails, like how much are you paying for the loan? Can you afford it? That kind of stuff. So it's been very interesting growing out of that. Like, well, if I don't have cash, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's hard to live like that these days.
Totally. And that's a good perspective to have, especially as you lead your team, because I think a part of our role as an institution is to help those who are going through that, buying their first car or whatever that may be, to kind of coach them through it and make sure they're fully aware of what they're getting themselves into.
Yep, for sure.
Which is, for some of us, it's like, okay, like interest rate.
Yeah.
I remember
I
buying my
have to have
first car.
insurance on my car.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Stuff like that you don't even think of.
Gap, all the things. You're like, when you get in that first accident and you have gap insurance, you're going to be like, thank you, Kylie.
Gap for the rest of my life.
Gap for life. No, but that's great. I think mine is credit cards. I never would have ever thought that would be something that I'd be even open to offering my child when they get to an appropriate age. But when my kid graduates high school, I would love for them to at least have a little bit of credit. Managed by me, of course, but it would. My husband's mom did that for him, and I was like, what a great idea, because he had great credit out the gate. Yeah. And I'm like, wonderful. I think that could get a little scary. You have to make sure you can manage your finances. Before you try to manage your children's. But
and keep an eye on them, because
oh gosh,
I remember being a kid and
swipe.
Yes.
I love it. Ugh. Well, that realization has probably shaped the way that you manage your finances. I mean, you touched on that a little bit. Lending is kind of a big part of your life, not only here at work, but in your personal life too. So that's great. I love that. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I really have good conversation with you, and it's always so great to chat.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and feel one step closer to making sense of money. Don't forget to subscribe and check out our newsletter at p1fcu.org. We'll see you next time.